I took our love out to Prescott. One of our assistant ministers from a few years ago, you might remember Kathleen Sibley, blonde hair and just real bubbly. She was with us for 6 weeks before she was stolen, and I tried to point them out that they didn't ask me to help. They just took one of our ministers. But went out there yesterday just to share our love, and she's got a wonderful place out there. I had the chance to actually do the ordaining of her. And she sang during the service. And so I thought I would come back and tell Fran that they let their minister sing out there. It doesn't happen here, but anyway, a lot of goods going on. Our gardens, we had 17 people. Anybody who was out there yesterday helping clean up? It looks fabulous. I guess they're all recovering, so it's next service. But this morning's message is about now what? Well, for Reverend Kathleen, now she's singing. You know, now what? We're celebrating our garden. We've got the mayor coming in. Now what is a wonderful question to ask of ourselves as well as the community in which you're in. So now what? You know, now what? What's going on in this now moment is a valuable thing to focus on. There's a wonderful Zen story of a master who went to stay at a monastery for 6 months, just an interim spot. And as he got in there, instantly he started cleaning up the overgrown gardens. He was scraping the forlorn painted walls of his room, cleaning up the floor, refinishing the floor. And the students came and said, Master, you're only here temporarily. Why are you working on, the transition of this place? You're just transitioning through here. And he said, you've got to recognize that all of life is temporary. But more pointedly, I intend to be here 6 months. I intend to be here for 6 months. Now what? Now what? Now. I intend to be here in this moment. And so what am I going to do with this moment? Am I going to bring the fullness of life to this moment? Am I going to bring the full expression of Spirit here in this moment? Am I going to step into this and experience the fullness of life? Am I going to clean out and scrape off the old, worn out wallpaper or things in my life? What I like to do occasionally is clean out the baby fat from my world and keep the treasures. I like to do this purging thing, so I create the space, because what happens is there's the accumulation, and I find people are so tired in their life that they are just tired to the point that the success, they're waiting to show up, but they're so tired that it doesn't quite make it. And people, when they're so tired to be able to experience life, it just keeps it at bay. And the key is to realize now is the appointed moment. Now is where the success is. I watch people waiting for their I watch people waiting for their success. And what I want to say is, wade into your success and stop waiting for your success to show up. Step into life and recognize that you're being given this moment with the fullness and the grace and the glory of God that is here now, and that it is up to you to claim that success and that experience now. What? Well, I'll tell you what. Now is to enjoy the life that is before you. I got to tell you, the greatest point of my week is this moment right now. I love nothing more than this Sunday morning experience, hanging out with all of you. But all week long, I'm in that place of joy, of preparing, of meditating, of praying, of researching, of writing, of thinking. Each moment is filled with the joy of that. I love being at home with Callie, picking the fresh kale and chopping it up in the kitchen for a salad, with the afternoon sun coming in from the west into the kitchen, with Trevor carrying on in the room over the side. There is just magic in those moments. I am experiencing that delight, and what I realize is that nobody can give me the delight. Oh, people can pay me and they can applaud me, but no one can give me the experience of gratitude in my life. That is my responsibility to recognize now. What is the gratitude? And all increases from there. That is the seed that gets planted. So often people think, hey, this is good, but how long is it going to last? You're like, oh, this is good, but when's the other shoe going to drop? Or whatever these sabotageable thoughts may be. What I want us to recognize, this great moment, this moment of success, of joy, of delight, of gratitude, is just the seed. It's just the seed that is being planted. And I am living in this ever-expanding vibration. My good, my security, my joy is the God vibration itself. Gilles Gibran says it is life's longing for itself. That is the vibration, is life longing for itself. It is that something inside of you that is moving and grooving and happening. It's not getting caught up and running around saying, this is terrible. Because what I've recognized in this unfoldment of the joy in my life today is that things happen in life. And all of my todays are in preparation for tomorrow. Not that I'm concerned about tomorrow, not that I'm desiring tomorrow, not that I'm looking for my success for tomorrow, but all of my todays are in preparation for my tomorrows. And some of those things that go on in my life might be complicated. They may not make sense to me now. They may have been things that I have conjured up that, oh my goodness, how could I have done that? And my gut just turns with the pain, like, oh, what were you thinking? But what I've come to understand is it may be years of tomorrows before it ever begins to make sense, and I must maintain a sense of faith, a sense of trust, a sense of knowing that there is a greater intelligence here that is operating, that I may not be the one who knows what is the highest and best for my life, that truly there is a far-reaching universal intelligence, that if I can live with a sense of faith and trust that what's going on in my life now is preparing me for something that I may not know or even need for years, but I'm going to just sit in this place and recognize that, okay, this is going on, and now what is for me to do is to step forth in life with a sense of trust and joy, knowing that the Spirit of God is seeking to manifest itself here and now as my life. And that I am able to open up to what is going on and not get so caught up in trying to figure it out, because there is in life this universal as well as that which individualizes itself. There is the macrocosm and the microcosm, which is Ernest likes to talk about. There is the infinite that particularizes itself. And so as we sit there in this space of meditation, if we get lost, you end up getting spaced out. It is realizing that, you know what, you can have the universal that shows up in your individual life, which is valuable, because if you're so lost out in that universal place, you're walking down the street and you're in touch with your breath. You're so mindful that you're in deep samadhi, just aware of every step that you take, to the point where you step off the curb into the traffic. That's not good. There's the balance. And that's what we want to find, is that balance in our life and in our world, because there's something going on in our planet right now that each of you are playing an important part. I believe it is a second mystical renaissance that is taking place. You had the early Christian mystics, the Meister Eggharts, the St. Teresa Avalon, St. Bernadette, St. John of the Cross, or other parts of the world. You had the Rumis and the Kabirs. There was something that made a profound impression. But in the last couple decades, whether it's through the media, the books, there is an emergence that is bringing a new state of being, because people are asking the age-old questions that are becoming the ordinary questions that moves one to a greater connection with spirits. Questions I'll be asking you. I'm starting a mysticism class on Tuesday night. I'll ask you these questions the first night of class. I used to do a 10-week class. People say, oh, it's too long, do it quicker. So I'm doing a quick 3-week class starting on Tuesday night. But the questions that people are asking themselves, which have become the ordinary questions, is, what was the purpose for which I was born? What is my spiritual path? How do I get clear with guidance? And these aren't just really ordinary questions. What they are spiritual invocations, an invitation for God to come closer. And spirit is. And it is happening, and it is going on, and all of a sudden you become that place where there is the motion and the movement of spirit that is having its way in our life. And what do you do with this? This class is not about studying mysticism. It is about embodying the consciousness of mysticism. It is not the intellectual approach to mystics, but rather it is the experience of the mysticism itself as our very life, because the mystics are ones who live from the inside out. The mystics are one who have an intuitive perception of reality. Intuitively, they know what is going on within their life or within their world or in the world in which they live. Not because it is coming through the rational kind of mind, but because there is something inside of them that knows, and it knows that it knows, and there is a trust, there is a faith, there is a deep sense of assurance. Now what am I going to do with this? That is where you get to be congruent to bring it out into your life and into your world. Not from a place of desire, but because you're coming from, this moment is joy. Not because my success is hanging out there and it's going to come, but this is the moment. I've been reading some Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and he's one of those guys. I had a chance to hear him last week, and it's not as if they say this great profound stuff. I mean, it's pretty basic. It's basic. But when you sit with these guys, there's a field about them. You can call it a consciousness. There is an aura. There is a resonance that you just sit with these people who spend their days with God or with the presence, the life force, or call it what you want, that when you are with them, there is a field of essence that is so real that you can feel and sense him. So one of the things I was reading, that he was writing about, was desires. As I read more about desires, desire is about happiness, right? I mean, you have a desire, it's going to bring you happiness. I mean, even if your desire is not a nice desire, it's still going to make you happy that you're doing whatever it is. Desire is about happiness. Got that? And desires are about tomorrow, right? Because you got this desire. That is in tomorrow. That's where my success lies. But what we know about joy, since this year is about joyous living, the only spot joy is now. So if you are full of joy, you can't be full of desire. And if you're in desire, desire is about tomorrow, so you can't be in joy. But if you're in joy, you're in now, and then you're not about desire. And so how beautiful to be in that place where it is joy-filled and not about desire. And then I'm thinking, but you got to have, I won't say desires or goals. Whatever you want to call this, that has the vision that is hanging out before you is that low fruit, I can have it. And I took Trevor to see the movie this week, Cruise. And that's about the extent of my movie viewing in the last decade is animation. And they've got usually pretty good, family stories. This is a girl who's upset with her funky dad who's so old-fashioned, who at the end of the movie ends up saving him, and she loves him. Kind of like Brave, but it was mom and daughter. It's like the same storyline. It's always good. Where was I going? I digressed. Excuse me. Anyway, I was caught up in my movie-going experiences, but I bought a ticket, all right? And I give the ticket to the person at the door, and you go in. Or let's say you're applying for a college, since that's what's going on this time of year. You fill out the application, and you submit it. So I'm thinking, desire, is that what you submit? That desire is like my ticket at the door. Okay, I got my ticket, and here it is. I got to let go of it so I can go into the theater. I've got to let go of the application so I can go into the experience of the greater education. And so the desire is my ticket that I'm not attached to, that I pass on, so I can move into the experience, so I can have that sense of fulfillment. And there are some people who just hold on to that ticket and live in that sense of someday it will happen, and there are others who, eventually the fulfillment shows up. And then there are others who are able to pass off this ticket as they move through life and move into it more frequently. But then there are some who just live in the fulfillment of life. That things are unfolding in their world. Or as Jesus told us, before you ask, I will answer. Before you pray, it is fulfilled. Am I able to live in that state of joyous living, in that state of fulfillment, and know now what is unfolding is the next step of my spiritual evolution, and that I am no longer working on becoming successful, becoming fulfilled, becoming free, independent, or whatever it is. I am going to be that, which we hear all the time, but I want us to get it. This isn't just semantics here. This is like night and day. There is a significant difference between being fulfilled and becoming fulfilled in our life. And it comes down to you embracing that and accepting that in your life and stepping forth into that and knowing that is the way in which it is. Because I'll tell you, when I gave up that desire of trying to hit it big, having my books go up the national bestseller list, having 1,000 people hanging out here on Sundays, there's just a big weight that comes off the shoulders. It's like, oh, the weight is gone from the shoulders. The spine is no longer tweaked. I am walking through life a little bit lighter, and I am living in fulfillment. It is not something that is going to be happening someday. It is what is going on now, because there was a time where I thought, I just need to cross that finish line, cross through that red velvety ribbon at the finish line, and just fall to my knees, and the orchestra would play, and in an instant, everything in life would now make sense. I can understand today's experiences taking care of tomorrow. I can now find the time to climb the Himalayas on the weekend and do yoga every day and meditate 3 times a week and have my life organized. Actually find a piece of paper that I'm looking for when I'm looking for it. Or the book I can find within minutes on my shelf instead of days. All of a sudden, in the instant, when I cross that line, out there, that perfect body or whatever it is you're working on, that's not it. It's now. What now? Now. What now? Now is where the fulfillment and the goodies are. Joy can only be experienced now. His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, he was, we're familiar with his, exile, genocide, his people, just got a lot of reasons to not be happy. And yet he wrote the book, The Art of Happiness. And he was being interviewed by an interviewer. And he said, His Holiness, or whatever one calls him, he said, you visited, kings and popes and presidents. What is the happiest moment? He smiled. He just said, and he starts off with a grunt. He says, I think right now. It's like, wow. Right now. Who makes that choice? The one who chooses to experience the gratitude, the one who chooses to experience the delight within your life. Rumi said, or instructed, really, said, when you go out into your garden, do you look for thorns or flowers? Next time, look for more roses and jasmine. What are you looking for? Because that's what you're going to find. I mean, if you're looking to arrive someday, and in the meantime you are traveling empty, yearning, I'll give you a hint, you're going to arrive empty and yearning. That's what you're going to find there. You've been given all that you need to experience the joy and the fulfillment and the success now. It was an interesting column I read by Irma Bombeck. She was addressing the 100,000 children that are born every year with special needs. They just have different abilities as they walk through this world. And she was trying to share a letter for the moms. And she said, visualize, God hovering above earth, the little angel next to it. This is metaphorically for a perspective. But imagine God hovering above earth with the angel with the big old ledger and the pen writing down whatever God says. And God says, Armstrong, Edith, send her a boy. And give us patron saint, give her Matthew. And there is Judith, Bloomberg, send her a girl, patron saint, give her Cecilia. And, and there's Meredith. Send her the twins. And give her the patron saint, Gerard. He cusses. He'd understand. And he goes through the list, and he comes to one, and he said, and the blind child, let's send to her. And the angel says, but God, she's so happy. He said, exactly. You can't expect us to send this child to someone who doesn't know how to laugh and take things a little lightly. But God, I don't know if she has patience Well, she can't have too much patience. Otherwise, she is going to wallow in a sea of self-pity, of resentment and anger. She's going to have to get over that. And she's a little selfish. And the angel said, selfish? Is that a trait? She said, oh, that's a trait. If this mom can't separate herself from this experience, she is never going to be able to make it. She needs to step away from it sometimes in order to replenish herself. And besides that, this child that has different needs than the typical kids is going to make her the envy of everyone. Not that she knows it yet, but I'll tell you, she's going to cherish every word that is spoken from this child. And when this child says for the first time, Mama, she will realize she is in the presence of a miracle. And when she describes trees and sunsets to this child, she will see my creation as no one else sees them. And I will also give her the knowledge that I have of about cruelty and prejudiceness. And it'll give her the ability to rise above that. And you'll say, okay, all right. And who shall be her patron saint? And God just smiles and said, the mirror will suffice. We've got to remember that the mirror will suffice for us. That God is walking alongside. We will never be alone, just as she will never be alone. Even though she may not have believed in God, by the end of this experience, she will, is what God told the angel. I'll tell you what, even though there may be questions, these soul-searching questions that we ask ourselves, what's this about? How can I get clearer on this connection? It will move you closer. You just need to look into the mirror and recognize that you are that presence. You are that divine that is here expressing itself in this world. And you didn't come here to be bound or to be stuck, but to be fulfilled in the success and the joy of this moment. And the day in that first mystical renaissance when people believed that they had to live in deprivation and poverty and chastity. Thanks goodness we don't believe that anymore. But rather that they learn to be able to be generous in their midst of pains. What we get to do is to be able to learn to be generous in the midst of our joy and our good. And as people used to run off to ashrams, that's not the way it is anymore, where people seclude themselves for a lifetime or cloister themselves. We are learning to be mystics without monasteries as we walk through this world, radiating that presence of God, because you are the divine that is manifesting. And if you ever question that, look into that mirror and know now is where it's at. God bless you as we do this in this life. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Charlie back to the stage 20 years later.
Different mic stand. Look for the other mic. There we are.
Wave after wave after wave after wave after wave is breaking down the wall. We sing that. Wave after wave after wave after wave after wave is breaking down the wall. I'm lost in useless patterns that seem so comfortable, and things that used to work are now unbearable. Wave after wave after wave after wave after wave is breaking down the wall. breaking down the wall. Your love is like a garden that you keep offering. You wrap me in that fragrance, and I keep opening. Wave after wave after wave after wave. I'm letting down the wall. Oh, wave after wave after wave after wave after wave. I'm letting down the wall. I'm lost in useless patterns that seem so comfortable, and things that used to work are now unbearable. Wave after wave after wave after wave after wave. I'm letting down the wall. Oh, wave after wave after wave after wave after wave. I'm letting down the wall. I'm letting down the wall. I'm letting down the wall. I'm letting down the wall.
Hey,
Thank you.
Charlie. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Helping us take down that wall. All right. Well, my goodness, this is the time of our service where we have the opportunity to unite together in our givingness and the sharing of our offering, and know that it makes a significant difference, that you participate in making a difference in this community, in our ability to share this ministry, of continuing to be at this place, to create the space to hear these stories of healing and transformation that go on, and just to create a field and frequency that is known as Seaside, where people are able to just tap and believe and remember the good that is possible. You are a part of the mirror that's held up for individuals. So I invite you to look within your heart and to feel how you touch and realize you cannot outgive God, that as you give, it comes back. It's not why you give. It's an extension of who you are. You are the activity in which Spirit is having in your life. So listen to your heart and soul and say yes to that. And with that, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward. I want to say thank you to this wonderful crew. And oh my goodness, Rick, he's hobbling on down. He's lined up for a knee surgery and somehow he made it out of bed today to help us out. Looking quite dapper, that's for sure. So all of you, elegant, my goodness, there must be a celebration going on. So, hey, I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that the blessings of the divine unfolds in this moment in ways that are just perfect and great and gracious and divine. For the wonderful expression of God moves in this moment, blessing and uplifting and enriching our individual lives. For truly, each of us becomes that God vibration in which we live within the security and the knowingness and the grace of Spirit and the abundant good that flows as our very life. Excited to be that on the journey of that fulfilled experience now. We send this forth with that which has blessed our life, knowing it continues to ripple forth into life in this kind of way. And so it is. Amen. And together, I'd like us to share our affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Feel those guys. Thank you. And thank you to David stepping up this morning, heading up the ushering. And I just stand in this field of gratitude and excuse me, an appreciation as the abundance continues to swell within this spiritual community, within the individual lives of those that have contributed. And I know right now that the blessing, the richness of spirit particularizes its expression from this universal, infinite aspect of things. And so that which has been given in love is taken care of in love and shared back into the world with that kind of good stewardship. So I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to participate in this wonderful flow of life. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Dad. Okay, so let's see. You heard about next week in the gardens. You've heard about our silver anniversary club that is starting this year. All sorts of benefits. See Joan, who's outside with that. The classes are beginning. There is so much good going on at Seaside. But what now? I'll tell you what, prayer. Healing is the thrust, and I want to say thank you to our wonderful musical team that is up here first. I want to say thank you to Charlie Thweet for showing up here after all these years. We've missed you. Rebecca Jade, beautiful voice. Oh my goodness, just the place just vibrates with you. Reverend Tammy, it's a joy to share Sundays with you for sure. And Robin, thank you. Guys in the back, Ed and Marv and Tim. And know that there's CDs available right after the service if you want to pick one up and share that. But what I want to do now is pray. I want to invite any of our religious science practitioners that are present to please stand and know that you heard about Jan Hartman, who's in the back, holding that light, just being that conduit for that spiritual expression of God to flow, that place of givingness she is. And I step into that ever-givingness and upswell of the divine essence itself and speak from this place of connectedness, feeling that divine vibration and essence of life moving in this moment, and know that truly the blessings of God is here in this way that is right and divine and expanding, and my awareness expands into the greater realization of the great I am, that I am, and I know that I am Spirit expressing the truth that is here and now. This now moment, this God moment where the divine particularizes its expression as our individual lives and find the fulfillment in ways that are relevant and real. And so I know that anyone today that is experiencing any of those challenges that bring forth the ticket of desire are able to submit it for that perfect healing that is waiting to have its manifestation as our very life. And for anyone here today that has a friend that is near and dear, or a family member that is just within our heart and soul, that could use a little bit more of the divine touch of wholeness of God, I know right now, hold them in this space and this light and allow that divine presence to fill that moment of awareness. For what I know, every prayer in our prayer request chest is answered. What I know is Seaside continues to grow and thrive and bring forth the new ministries that flourish, as well as the ones that have been here. That this next Sunday is a wonderful success and a confirmation of a new beginning of the next 25 years as we cut the ribbon from what was to what is. For truly, Seaside has continued to live in the fulfillment and the success of this now, which is a truth of our individual lives and the emerging consciousness that is this wonderful family. Grateful to be part of this, to see it, to proclaim it, to speak it, and to let go, because it is not my will to make it happen, but it is the truth that is happening that each of us has stepped into. I let go and allow Spirit to have its way, and healing happens, and so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is wide, and I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide, and I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm on. Your turn to sing, come on. Very nice. Oh, no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God.
Hey, our affirmation is, my spiritual experiences integrate smoothly into my daily life. Good luck with this one. My spiritual experiences integrate smoothly into my daily life. One more time. My spiritual experiences integrate smoothly into my daily life. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love, living in peace, living my life, what I believe, through to fears. In this world we walk, God's grace shines through me, and it shines through us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love, living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor our truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace.